And welcome back to A Place Called Through. I am your host, Patricia Wade Goings, and we're broadcasting from WOI TV7, that is Community Broadcasters Network, where we share a mission of hope, a mission of joy. You know, our stories are from real people who had real life experiences. You know, we all go through something one way or another. Your challenge may be different from my challenge. Your struggle may be more real than mine, but nonetheless, the struggle is real. And the difference is going through, getting through, and how you come through. And so that's why we do what we do here at A Place Called Through in conjunction with WYTV7 Community Broadcasters Network. We share these stories to help encourage you, to inspire you, and to educate you as we do so globally. And we're so honored today to have again as our guest, Dr. and Mrs. Edward McNeil, who are sharing their stories of travels to foreign countries as a foreign mission ministry. This ministry began years ago, and it is still continuing. But we want you to know off the top, we greatly appreciate you and what you have done, Dr. and Mrs. McNeil. Welcome again to A Place Called Through.
Thank you.
We want to jump right on into this story today. As we're going to talk, we know that you have been to several places, and it may be a little redundant, but we want to make sure that our listeners and our viewers are really capturing the full story, the full picture of what this foreign mission has accomplished and what your goals are still to accomplish. And if I may share with just our listeners and our viewers, I want to take a minute just to read one of the scriptures that we had posted. And he said unto them, go unto the world and preach the gospel to every creature. And that is from Mark 16 and 15. And so together, this foreign mission has been to places such as Israel, Peru, Liberia, Honduras, Nicaragua, Zimbabwe, and also to Jamaica. So they are truly preaching and teaching the word of God, but they're doing it and also sowing seeds, planting seeds, helping these countries and nations to grow. As you will hear, some places didn't even have water. Some are cooking with coals in pots. Whereas, you know, we're so favored to have a stove. Sometimes we don't appreciate the things that we do have. And here's foreign countries wishing to have a stove, and all they have year round are coals and pots. And hopefully they do have enough coals to take them throughout the year. So, you know, we may be sitting in the comfort of our homes, and we're blessed to do so. But here's a team that has done nothing but sacrifice in their sowing and in their giving to make it for a little while. We want to talk about what was it like to go to Jamaica? I know that early on you said that was the first place you went to. So compared to the first time you went there and compared to what's going on now, what was that like?
Our trip to Jamaica was sort of an ad hoc group that came about to go because of people that were from Jamaica. Our journey there was mainly healthcare because there were rural areas where they needed assistance. We hadn't done it before. So we went there without really a organized system compared to what we have now. Now we know what to do. We know how to get organized, and we know how to go in and get things done. But we got there and we worked as a team, first of all, and we had no real location to work out of initially. We were working, as I said, out of the church, and the people were just coming and coming. We actually ended up working out of a clinic one day. We showed up at a clinic, and the clinic was closed. Well, they let us in to work, and the people were just coming in and coming in and coming in. And so we were able to get our first hands-on experience with taking care of people in a foreign country. And we could see their love and their how much they appreciated what we were doing to such a degree. It was just overwhelming. And things sort of just took off from there.
A little bit about Honduras. What is it like in Honduras, and what were some of the real struggles about being in Honduras?
This was very interesting because I knew it was an unsafe place, first of all. And when we got there, I can't remember where we landed in initially, but they had to get these small aircrafts. Only two of us could travel at a time. It may have been about 8 of us. So they would weigh us. They would say, well, how much do you weigh and how much do you weigh? And then they would say, get in. So I was one of the first ones to take off to where we were going to go to take care of patients. He took us out in this open field. It was about knee-high bushes, and he landed in a field. He wasn't landing in some place where there's airplanes and things. I'm telling you, it was in a field. He says, okay, and it was there's a name for these small aircrafts. What do you call them? No, but there's a name that we use a lot for these small aircrafts. Put us out in this field, and he said, well, we'll be back with the rest of them soon. And just left 2 of us standing there. We didn't know where we were. I couldn't tell you anything. We're just looking at each other saying, I don't know. And so maybe 30, 40 minutes later, maybe an hour later, he brought 2 more back. And that was my first experience. I mean, we were out in no man's land. You couldn't see anything but woods and field. And they just put us out like that. And so we had gone there to do a medical mission, to open up a clinic. We had gone there to open up a medical clinic. And so we got there and you know, some of them got these red bugs and every kind of crippling illness. Some of them developed diarrhea. Everybody was just sick. And so often when we travel, people do get sick. But it was during that journey where we left Honduras after, you know, because I had another physician with me. He stayed there and kept the clinic going. And I went with the brothers to Nicaragua. So it was a lot of weariness on that trip, but we're able to do a lot of good work there. I only worked there about 2 or 3 days in Honduras and I left, but I know, you know, the clinic was set up and they got it running well and they saw a lot of patients.
Well, for me, if I was on that trip, I don't know how I'd have felt being in the middle of a field.
Yeah, we felt that way
just not knowing what's in between them bushes and you're in a foreign land. You don't know whether to walk or run. I don't know how I would have felt. So I guess foreign mission is not for pet. My foreign mission, I'd have to talk. I just don't think I could do the visiting because if I ever had to get dropped in the middle of a field like that, no. I don't know. It just, you know, I guess because just the visual a part of it I just can't imagine me doing that. I just couldn't. And the way my legs are, I couldn't run too far. So, oh God, that had to be really horrific. Because they were facing the unknown. You really didn't know. Wow.
Felt like it would go down at any time. It was just a puttering along. It wasn't very high, but it was high enough to kill you if it was going to crash.
You do missions.
So it's kind of like one of those 2-seater planes, and it was kind of like one of the oldest 2-seater planes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, all right, let's talk about another exciting place that you have been to. Let's go back to maybe Nicaragua. Let's see what's going on over there. How was that mission trip?
Nicaragua was no medicine. It was all church. It was all church. We went there just to sow seed and to tell people about the goodness of Jesus Christ and to talk about the word of the Lord. So we were at night, we were going to abandoned buildings, having services and preaching and teaching. So it was a different kind of mission compared to Honduras, where there's a medical clinic. There was no medicine. We were only coming out at night. And people there were, some of them were possessed, and that was the first night I was there. A lady came to me. She said, I've had my daughter up and down this river, seeing everybody, and she's still possessed. And I mean, the people were all up in the windows. The place would be so packed. People would be in the windows, and you wouldn't believe, and the place would be full. And we'd be preaching and just trying to just share the word of the Lord with them. So it was a different, and then at night we'd take our flashlights and get back to our rooms and stay there all day the next day until night. But it was good.
Well, I must say, you all truly you can say that you really endured some things. I mean, and I'm thankful that you can laugh about it, because this is horrific you're talking now, you've been stuck out there in the middle of a field, in the middle of no man's land, as they would say. Now you're fighting with a flashlight still in a foreign area.
Let me share this with you. We were in Nicaragua, and I was so despondent one evening because we hadn't taken a bath in 4 or 5 days, and they were just bringing us a little bit of water in there because we couldn't come out, and there was no shower or anything. So I told the brothers, I said, I said, listen, I said, we need to get down to the river. I said, because they've been getting this water from the river. I said, we need to wait for dark to come when the dust is falling, and we need to try to make it down to the river. So they agreed. So it started getting kind of dusky outside. And so I said, I think it's a good time to go. And we just got to take a bath. So we started walking down to the river, walking down slowly down, just, looking right and left in the bushes. And so the closer we could get to the river, you could see this big thing in the water. Right? We kept looking and got closer. We couldn't tell what it was. When we got down to the river, there was a dead horse in the river on the edge. All we could do is turn around and walk back, because the horse had flies and everything around it. And it was just, it just broke my heart. Let me tell you, I just want to bust out in tears. So.
Are you? Oh my gosh. See, no, and I'm glad that you're sharing this, because nobody really knows what you endure on a foreign mission trip. They hear foreign mission, they think that you go and you're doing, just small things, but they don't realize that you actually endure so many other things while you're doing a mission work. I mean, to find a body at the end of the river, you haven't had a bath, in days, barely having, things to eat and drink that you probably can tolerate. There is a lot that you really, really go through. But we're going to go ahead and pause for a commercial break here. We look like we're getting close to a commercial break. But I want you to stay tuned as we come back with the McNeils, as we continue talking about Family Worship Center foreign mission trips with Dr. Edward, and Sister Juraee McNeil here on A Place Called Through. And I am your host again, Patricia Wade Blank. Stay tuned. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back to A Place Called Through, and we're broadcasting from WY TV7 Community Broadcasters Network, sharing a story of hope. Life takes us through many changes. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. Sometimes you feel like you're in a valley and you're left all alone. But just imagine being left in a field all alone, not knowing what's behind the field or the next bush, not knowing where your next meal is coming from, or even knowing that you can get even a bottle of water to drink. But here are the trials and the tribulations that the McNeils have endured as they strive to move forward in the foreign mission. But we want to encourage you, our listeners and our viewers, to do something today. Don't hesitate, because the mission has to continue. It will continue. And the only way that it's going to continue is through your giving. And so we ask you, no matter how much it is, how small, please sow your seed into Family Worship Center Foreign Ministry Mission. And you may do so by mailing your checks to P.O. Box 747, and that is Yamasee, South Carolina at 29945. Or you can do online giving, and that is www.continuetogive.com. and search under the Family Worship Center, Yamasee, South Carolina, or Zelle, which is directly from your bank to Family Worship Center, and then send that payment to familyworshipcenter@gmail.com. Or you may contact the Church Family Worship Center Administrative Office in area code of 843-522-1900, or by email at thefamilyworshipcenter@gmail.com. Sow your seed. We encourage you to do so. Help with this mission to continue to grow and move forward as they are helping people across the globe. The McNeils are doing an awesome job with their team. They're reaching higher heights. And we ask also that you pray for them as they continue to travel, facing many, many unknown situations that they must go through as well. So we want to welcome back for the last couple of minutes of this story today, the McNeils, as we continue to talk about the different places that they have been through and some of the hardest hit places that they have gone to. But we want to jump also into, before we have to end this, the successes of all of the trials and the tribulations. You heard about the hardship and how they've had to endure, you're facing unknown, even just getting just the money, the seeds to being sown and being planted, the donations that come forth, but it's still a trial and tribulation. It's still a test. No matter which way we go, we are still tested by our faith to continue to be the servants by which we are called to be. We are called to be servants of Christ. We are called to be a true servant, true worshipers. And so today we are learning more about worshiping in spirit and in truth with the McNeils. And if we would continue, Dr. McNeil, talk to us again about another place that really kind of just took you to a different level in some really hard times, something that, you hadn't really endured, that you weren't anticipating on enduring.
We traveled to, my wife and I traveled to Zimbabwe with 3 other people with the only mission of starting a church. We didn't go there initially and say we were going to start a church, but that was the intent. And so each day we were on foot, walking around in Zimbabwe, a place called Juraee. And we would walk up to people and just and ask them clearly, do you know the Lord, or whatever, however you wanted to approach them. And we would tell them to meet us down in a field, and we knew the name of the field, and people would meet us down at the field at night. And the first night we only had a few people, and by the second night we might have had 15 or 20, and the next night we had about 40 or 50. And by the 5th or 6th night, one of the pastors that we were with, he was from a place about 6 hours away. He stood up and he said, who wants to join this church? And we're out in this field, no church. See, and that's why you have to know what the church is. He said, who wants to join this church? And everybody was standing up. Everybody wanted to join this church. And out of that church, now you would not believe, we had no building. He and I went out the next day. He and I, my wife, we went out the next day, and we found a duplex, a very inexpensive duplex. It was pretty large, but enough for them to start Bible study and preaching in it. And there was another facility, another church that was there. I don't want to call the name of the church, but it wasn't a typical church. And they started losing all of their members to the church we established. And they were able to move out of the duplex, and we were able to purchase that church. And now they have a large church now, and they have ongoings of services in that church now. We're in Peru traveling and doing church mission. And we saw these people out having service. And they were having service in an area where there was a wall, a clay wall, about 4 feet high. That was their church. And it was raining, not heavy rain, but a little light drizzling rain. And they were still outside having church. The people that were with us, it was a few families, my wife and I and a few other, we got together and we were able to donate enough money to build them a church. So there's so much going on in foreign missions. It's not just medicine, it's not just church, but it's a combination of all of that in terms of trying to treat the whole man, the body, mind, and the soul. You can send food, but you want the soul saved as well. And you want them to know of the Lord Jesus Christ. But probably the greatest thing we've ever done with missions has been Liberia, the clinic in Liberia. The clinic in Liberia is absolutely a testament to what God can do, because a building, a clinic that was worked on for 20 years and couldn't get open, we got it open in about 2 years. And we opened this clinic in December the 11th of 2021. And it's been open now for maybe 5 months. And that clinic has birthed 26 babies already, 26 babies. And I'm going to show you what God does. These ladies have to walk to the clinic to birth their baby. Some of them walk an hour and a half in labor. They're told to start walking once they get in labor. They'll walk an hour, hour and a half, 30 minutes, all the way to the clinic. They deliver their baby, and then they have to walk back home with the child, the newborn. And we have our plush hospitals, and we have our babies, and they come pick us up in the limousine and take us back home. But that's the kind of thing that the clinic, but now they have a place to go. So we've been able to affect, have an impact on infant mortality. These babies are not being born at home now and in the backyard or wherever. They're being born in a facility. They've seen 1,300 patients since we opened in December. We've been able to send, we're basically sending we're purchasing all the medicines. It's a freestanding clinic. We're purchasing and this is through the United Church of Jesus Christ, our organization, but most of this work is being done through our local assembly here because I'm in direct contact with them most of the time, and we've been there, we've done mission work there. And so it's probably been the greatest accomplishment that we've seen. I've got a note from a nurse practitioner that's running the clinic just a couple of days ago. And she was just so in awe with what has been done with the clinic. I was trying to see, she said, "Hi, are you Dr. McNeil?" Say, "It's been a while since we talked. It's because I'm so busy scheduled at the clinic. I least expect the number of cases we receive at the clinic. Sometimes I have to stay at the clinic for 2 or 3 nights, mostly for labor patients. Doctor, this clinic is a blessing to Liberia. I see us turning this place to a hospital a few years from now by God's grace. I would try and send you some voice audio of patients appreciating us. I'm also grateful to you all for the continued support to Liberia at large. Because of the care, the efficient drugs, the clinic is now being called or named by patients the American Clinic. This clinic's name is Monroe Saunders R. Sr. He started our organization, but they don't know him. And so they asked me one day, why did we name this clinic after this man that we don't know? But I told him the guy started this organization, and at one time he had great impact on Liberia. But she said they called the clinic the American Clinic. Thanks so kindly, doctor. God will reward you. I am forever grateful that God can use my hands and save lives. And that's not all of it. But they send me videos of births, childbirths, and they sent me a picture of a stillbirth. They were so hurt and so down over because one baby didn't survive. But the work that they're able to do, and we're such they call, she may not talk to me, but the overseer and the people in the clinic, I get called almost every single day. We need this, we need that. We had to send fans. It was so hot in the place. We sent money for them to purchase fans. They had to have a couple of beds in it because they stay there at night. So we sent money for beds. We're sending money and supplies, and they have a vehicle now that they can get around because everybody was walking. The workers, the ones that are not walking, they have to rent a moped to go to work, $3. We're even paying their salaries. And we don't understand what paying their salaries mean. But when I say paying their salaries, this is what it means. We have 5 people on payroll over there for $900 a month, all 5 of them. So you see what they're making. That's a lot of money for them, though. And
that's a lot. That's a lot. That is just a lot. You have truly made some milestones. And one of the things that I wanted to say also, as you were moving forward, therefore preparing your minds for action and being sober-minded, set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. And that's from 1 Peter 1:13. So, you set your eyes on the vision, and the vision has now become a reality. And interestingly, that a lot of people did not know who Monroe Saunders Sr. was, but now the reality, the name and the clinic, people will be able to say, this has been our founding, our bishop, and we are honored that we have Bishop Monroe Sr. Jr. serving as our presiding bishop, our diocesan bishop. And, we're just really elated to know that we have great people in our diocese, such as yourself, that are moving things forward with the vision, with us. We hope to encourage, inspire, And this is what you're doing, hands-on inspiration. You know, it's not just about being able to come on the camera and say this, that, and the other, but you're actually proving what's in your heart and what your God-given gift is. And we're so thankful to you. So for our listeners and our viewers, Dr. McNeil and Sister Juraee, what would be your final words of encouragement as we bring this segment to a close? Unfortunately, we are running out of time. So what would be your closing statements of encouragement and what our listeners and viewers can do to help you?
We are at this point trying to tap into other areas. Specifically, there's such a need in Uganda, and we're supporting a couple of schools in Uganda right now. And we would like to go there as well and do health mission and try to get a clinic started. We've also picked up a couple of churches in Sierra Leone, and we very much would like to go there as well. And probably the last thing I would say that we would see as a future thing for us would be to get engaged in some of these areas of disaster. But my hope today is that what we've said and what we've shared with people will encourage their spirit, that they will want to become a part of this and want to become a part of reaching out, because that's what he's told. That's what the Lord has told us. He says, what does it prosper us? Or what does it profit us to have faith and not have any works? God expects us to do something. He expects us to be busy while we're here. No one was saved to sit in a pew. We're always saved to be servants. And this is such an opportunity to reach out to those who are destitute and those who are naked and those who are shelterless. And we're so appreciative even for the people who are praying for us. That is such a major aspect of what we do. And it's a major aspect of what allows us to move forward and to encourage our spirit. But I'm going to say this, we don't look for big donations, because we know that people with big donations typically don't contribute to these kinds of things. But it's the people that, if you look at the churches, the people that really give consistently with the tithes are the people that have the small amount of money. And that's just the way it is in the world. So we have people that are partnering with us with $25, $50, $100. Yes, if somebody want to send 1,000, 5,000, we'll be let me say thrilled and just overjoyed with it. But we pray that that someone heart has been moved today by what they've heard and what's actually going on, and decide that they want to become a part of this. And we're very transparent. Anytime if you send me a letter or anything, I promise you we'll respond to it, or even a call, we will respond to it. And we love you, and we appreciate the time and this opportunity.
And Sister Juraee, would you like to close out with anything to say to our listeners and our viewers?
I just want to say that there is a great need out there for everyone. Everyone is in need of something. If it's not just, if it's only a smile, a hug, encouragement. So just don't, think about yourself. Mission is about help giving at home, in your neighborhood, in your school, on your job. It's a great need. Just give. If we would get our mind off of ourselves and our worries onto someone else and a good cause, then we will do much better. We will feel much better. We will feel more appreciative, and we won't be so stuck on what I do not have or what I cannot give. You can give. Mm-hmm. You have something to give. So we just need to step out and give. And we thank God for missions and people that are mission minded and people that give. Thank you, Lord.
We look like we're out of time. The clock has run out on us, but we want to offer this the last chance to our listeners and to our viewers, not only just to sow into the ministry financially, but as you've heard, also the prayers. Prayers are definitely needed. So we encourage you, pray for the team. Pray for the assignments that are forthcoming and the assignments that they are accepting now. We ask that you continue to lift them up in prayer, but also pray on the giving as well. And again, for the final round of giving, it is mailing your checks or your money orders to Family Worship Center at P.O. Box 4747. That is Yamasee, South Carolina at 29946. You may do online giving at www.continuetogive.com and search for the Family Worship Center, Yamasee, South Carolina, or Zelle directly from your bank to FWC, or send your payments to the Family Worship Center at gmail.com. You may contact the church administrator in area code of 843-522-1900 or by email at thefamilyworshipcenter@gmail.com. It has been my pleasure to have you as my guest today. I thank you for sharing your story, and I pray God continues to bless you on each and every mission and also financially, and I'll be praying for you as well. Again, it has been my pleasure. I am the host, Patricia Wade Goings, signing off today from A Place Called Through.
Thank you for having us.